Hello, YouTube. Hello, Internet. Today, hello, we are going to be going over this deck. So I've had this for a while. This was a gift from the creator, Wiser Books, who also published my first book. Also, Sekhmet says hello. We'll see if he interrupts us at all in this little unboxing. So I've been sitting on this for a little while. For whatever reason, today feels like the right day to do a little walkthrough, to open it up and to see what's going on. So this is Tarot Disassembled. As you can kind of see, it seems to be that each card isolates the symbolism and whatever from each card. It's by someone called Jennifer Cooper Steedley. So I don't know if that is the artist plus creator or if that's just one or the other. So hopefully we'll find out as we open this up. So you also see this is the back of the deck, some previews of the cards. It says, with a bright color palette and bold graphics, this unique deck deconstructs and re-examines the traditional symbolism found in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, opening the door for fresh insight into a classic. Tarot Disassembled allows the user to connect with the tarot in a completely intuitive way, free from any pictorial narrative around gender, skin color, size, age, ability, or any other human constructs. So let's stop there for a second. So I'm not loving that rationale personally at all. Like I wish that everyone had just left that sentence out of the description of what this is. Because I personally am a massive fan of the typical Rider-Waite-Smith. Like I do think that seeing the human body and the gestures and what is the body position? What is the posture? Like is someone hunched over or is someone feeling leading from their chest? Is someone like this and protecting themselves? Like what is going on? Like which direction is the person facing? Like all of that stuff, in my opinion, is like really, really important in terms of reading the tarot. Whenever I'm teaching any of my students about reading the tarot, I'm always asking them to pay attention to what are the figures doing? How are they? Which way are they facing? What's their body language? Like what are they holding? How are they holding it? Like I don't think that it makes a ton of sense to take the human out of the tarot for this reason. So I don't love that whole kind of like woke rationale, it seems like, around doing that. But if I can put that on a shelf, I can see what the inspiration is with this if we just bracket that for a second and distilling it to, let's say, the non-human symbolism in the deck. I think that is an interesting idea. I love that. I think it's fine, but I don't love the like woke rationale. And like, I don't really know when this deck was published, so I'm sure we'll find out. But I feel like that is not going to age very well. That being said, there are many decks without any humans in them at all that I do really love. For instance, the Wild Unknown immediately comes to mind. So is it possible to have an amazing tarot deck without humans? Absolutely it is. That would be one great example of it. And let's give this a walkthrough and see how we feel about it. But before we do that, I just want to read the last little bit here. So it says, the simplicity of the symbols makes it a great first deck for beginners, and pros will enjoy unpeeling the traditional tarot like an onion, discovering layer upon layer of meaning and the richness of simple imagery. So let's open this. Let's open this up. That's what it looks like. I just dropped something. Let's see what this even is. It's just a little title card type of thing. Published in 2025. So this is the vibe on the back. Okay, what does it say? It says, the Tarot Disassembled deck is based on the symbology of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. For those of you new to the tarot, that deck is arguably the most iconic and widely circulated deck in the world and the basis for the majority of modern decks created since it first came on the scene in 1910. I thought it came into the scene in 1907, but I could be wrong on that. It says also available and sold separately is the companion Tarot Disassembled guidebook. Blah, blah, blah. An in-depth source book for interpreting this deck, which shows how I've deconstructed the traditional symbolism found in that deck. Okay, cool. So personally, I was not gifted the guidebook, so I cannot speak on that. It would have been nice to have also been given that, just so I could give like a full walkthrough of this whole entire experience that people can expect. But regardless, here is the box top lid thing. I do love this. I think this is really beautiful as an image. I'm really loving when decks do have this attention to detail, when we do see like this kind of beautiful little image here. I think that's really fun. So opening up the box, we can see the deck looks like this. I actually really love this as a back image for the cards. Stunning. I noticed there's a few guys here watching live, so feel free to let me know, do you dig this back of the cards? And it looks like, ooh. So here is the inside of the box. Let's just read this. It says, the true tarot is symbolism. It speaks no other languages and offers no other signs. So I do like this kind of attention to detail with the experience of unboxing. I do like that the place where the cards rest is another color. I think this is really beautiful. The box is sturdy, so I do like a sturdy box. It's not so heavy that it's going to be a pain in the ass to carry around like some other boxes. Like for instance, this box I think is too enormous. Like I do love this deck. I think it's beautiful, but this box is just kind of unwieldy. And then the way it opens is like this, which means that I have to be really careful how I hold this. Otherwise, like the deck is going to go like flying somewhere across the room. And so I do like the way that this box is. Like it's not too big. It's not too heavy. It's snug. Like it's pretty nice. Honestly, I like this box. I feel like that's good. I'm also loving this like yellow sides. Like that is really fun. And I've noticed that this is more of a trend in decks that I've seen come out in the last few years. I was sent a bunch of decks from Wiser, so I think they're really starting to do this, which I think is really awesome. Like, why not? I mean, it makes the deck stand out. It makes it really fun to work with. Yellow, I think, is a really fun color because it's very like solar plexus, will, individuality, individuation. Like it's very sunny. Like personally, I love the symbolism and like the vibe of yellow is one of my favorite colors. So I think this is really fun. It just makes the deck kind of stand out a little bit, especially with the black back of it. Like I actually really like this. I like that they didn't do it like black on the sides. Like I think that could have been another choice. But to me, the yellow and the black really, really works. Like, and so let's just see. I don't want to shuffle these yet because I think they're in order because I haven't cracked this open yet until literally right now. But in my hand, it feels good. The cards don't feel too thick. It feels like shuffling this is going to be fine. But let's get to that at the end once we do the full walkthrough. So let's start with the Major Arcana. And let's just get rolling, and then we're going to go through all the different suits, and we can all see what we think about it. So first up, we've got the Fool, kind of typical symbolism here. And my Rider-Waite-Smith is totally in the other room. I probably should have brought that for this unboxing, but whatever. I think most of you guys probably know what the Rider-Waite-Smith looks like. So here we've got some typical symbolism, the little feather, the dog, the wheel, the backpack, the stick, the sun. Interesting. So we got that one. Next up, we've got the Magician. Pretty interesting. Of course, one of the most important things about the Magician is it's got the 4 suits on the table, symbolizing that we've got everything that we need to move forward already. Interesting. Like, I think these are, and of course the little infinity symbol. Like, I do think these are interesting cards. But I miss the people. But that's interesting. High Priestess. We've got a lot of the symbolism there. Pomegranates, of course, one of my favorite symbolism with this card. And you'll also notice that each of these majors is a different color. So I'm really curious how that's going to change as we move into the suits. So next up, we've got the Empress with the crown, the little Venus heart, pomegranates again, scepter. I'm really curious what y'all think about this. So do let me know in the chat if we are vibing. Next up, we've got the Emperor. The beard, the crown, the armor. Pretty interesting. And you'll notice that all of these are different colors so far. So I'm really curious like how that color patterning is going to go. and if it's a little bit random depending on the card or not. So next up, we've got the Hierophant symbolism here. But you'll notice, like, we still have the hand symbol, and I find that really interesting because the back of the deck is like, we want to completely take humans out of this. So to me, this just goes to show, and then with the beard, it's like you can't take humans out of the tarot in this way. It's like you can, obviously, as I said before, Wild Unknown does an amazing job of this, very animal, nature-focused deck, fantastic. I have no criticisms of that deck at all. Like, I love it. It's one of my favorites. But the way that they're doing it, it's like we're doing an animal nature deck. Whereas with this, it's like we're not doing humans. And so it's like I feel like the energy of those two things is a little bit different. So anyway, we'll see how it goes as we go through these. Next up, the Lovers. I like this one. I do feel like there is something lost with this, though. And I guess you guys can decide what you think. Strength. Like, to me, this is, like, not it, this one. Especially since Strength is really about, in the Rider-Waite-Smith, the relationship between the lady and the lion. Like, the lion in the typical Rider-Waite-Smith Strength card is not this, like, valiant, like, roaring, like, lion. The lion is, like, you know, very chill. Like, the tail's between his legs. He's, like, you know, kind of tamed a bit. And that is part of the message and the symbolism of this card. So, like, in my mind, this, as much as it's kind of trying to do something, like, it doesn't symbolically do what it's trying to do. Like, that's just kind of my opinion about this. So let me know if you agree or disagree in the chat. Next up, the Hermit. And so we've got another floating beard, which, again, like, if the point of this deck is to remove humans out of it, like, I don't know about this. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll just leave it at that. Justice. And I'm really not too sure what, like, this is supposed to be. So if anyone does know what that is supposed to be, let me know. Sword of Justice, the scales, of course. And then we've got the Hanged one. I think it's interesting. They didn't write this as the Hanged Man. And so again, we see this human posture. And so to me, like, this is kind of proving my point that I said at the beginning of this video. Like, you're like, if you're trying to do a symbolic deck that removes humans out of it, then, like, you need to fully commit to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see any beards. I don't want to see any hand symbols. I don't want to see any marionettes in human poses. Do you know what I mean? And so it's like, pick a struggle. Like, if you're going to remove humans from the tarot and just do something fully symbolic, like, you need to commit to, like, removing the postures as well. Like, that's kind of my opinion. But again, this is from someone who hasn't made a deck. I know it's hard to make a deck. I will eventually make a deck one day. It's going to happen. So it's a lot of me babbling. But that's kind of my thoughts on this. Like, I don't want to see these human postures if part of the point of the deck is to remove human postures and humans from the deck, as it said on the back of the box. So anyway, Death card. And then we've got Temperance. And again, we've got the feet, one on land, one on water. Again, proving my point that if you want to do a symbolism deck, like, you got to actually commit to doing a symbolism deck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want these, like, disembodied things going on if part of the, like, you know, inspiration for this deck was to remove that entirely. But anyway, and again, we got the hand symbols. Can't avoid the human. Like, you can, that's the thing. But it's like, pick a struggle. Again, the Devil. The Tower. And again, we've got the Marionette as the stand-in for humans, which, again, I'm feeling a little bit annoyed by. Don't love it. Next up is the Star. Next up is the Moon. Less successful, I feel, that one. The Sun. really does not get the idea across, that little baby, I don't think. But that's just me. Next up, we've got Judgment, and again, the marionette, which again, I'm not into. Like, if you're gonna have no humans in it, commit to having no humans in it. Like, especially since the back of this is like free from any pictorial narrative around gender, skin color, age, size, ability, or any other human constructs. So it's like, if that's the idea, like if that's the concept, however flawed it is, that like you want to go with to make this, like why are we relying on these like marionettes? Because like I'm sure someone is going to be like, well, that's ableist because it's a normative body size, or they have all their limbs. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to go with that, like let's say like woke idea, like commit to it, is kind of how I feel. Don't use all these marionettes in place of humans if you actually want to like divorce yourself from human representation. Like, it's possible to do. Other decks have done it. Again, the Wild Unknown, great example. Anyway, the world. And so those are the majors. So I want to show you guys the majors kind of all in one big little cornucopia of cards. Let's see if I can even hold all of these at once. Okay. This is hard to do. All right. So again, I love the back. Here we go. These are all the majors. And so what I'm noticing is it seems like there is, I'm sure there is some kind of rhyme or reason between the colors, but at the moment it doesn't seem like there is a different color structure between, let's say, the major arcana and then all the 4 different minor arcana suits, which is different from some decks that do, let's say, have some kind of visual difference between the colors of the majors versus the colors of the 4 suits. So this deck is not doing that, which again is fine. It's just kind of something to notice. Yeah, so let's leave that there. All right, so moving on to the suit of wands. Ace of wands. And again, we've got floating hands. Next up, 2 of wands. Next up, 3 of wands. And yeah, again, we can decide how successful we feel this is. 4 of wands. For anyone watching this, I'm really curious, like, if you would want to read with this deck, or if this is just kind of something that you would want as like a collector's item for your own personal curiosity or just a habit. 5 of wands. I'm not too sure why this outfit, why all the shoes. It's interesting. Six of wands, victory. And it's interesting because the back box thing says this is like for beginners. Like, I think that beginners would find this confusing as fuck, to be honest. 7 of wands, which to me, this does not adequately describe symbolically what this card represents in terms of the meaning. Like, in my opinion, if you look at the typical 7 of wands is in the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's going to be a lot more intuitive to the newbie to understand what is going on there than this is. Like, if I was a newbie, I would look at this and be confused, to be honest. And so if anyone is watching this live, let me know like what you think about these. Like, because the box thing says like this is a great thing for newbies to learn, but like I don't see it that way. Like, I think if anything, this is kind of like a collector's deck for people who are intermediate to advanced, who for whatever reason like might want this kind of thing. 8 of wands. 9 of wands. And again, to me, this is not as evocative as the typical 9 of wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is going to mean nothing to someone who is new to the tarot, in my opinion. And if you disagree with me, like, please feel free to say why. Like, that's fine. I don't mind being disagreed with. It's all good. But, you know, and 10 of wands, to me, this looks a lot more pleasant like considerably more pleasant than the typical 10 of Wands. Like this looks kind of like joyful, happy, like chill vibes. Whereas the 10 of Wands is like burden. It's like you're exhausted by carrying all the wands. Like it's not a fun card to look at. But to me, this looks like joyous and fun and exciting and just sunny and like lovely. But that's not really what the Rider-Waite-Smith 10 of Wands is about. So I feel like it's a bit of a disconnect here for me in terms of what this deck is trying to do and what it actually does. But again, your mileage may vary. I'm not saying don't grab it. I'm just saying like these are kind of my thoughts. Page of Wands. Knight of Wands. And let's see. I think these got stuck together. Queen of Wands. Interesting. And then King of Wands. And so, like, personally, if I was a newbie to tarot, like, I failed to see how this, like, would make it easier for a beginner to understand what these mean. That's just my opinion. And again, if you guys disagree, please let me know. So let's see. The simplicity of the symbols makes it a great first deck for beginners. Like, I don't agree with that at all. Like, I actually think this is a better deck, again, for people who are intermediate to advanced, who already have a really good understanding of what these cards mean. Like, personally, I think a beginner is going to be confused about this. And if there are any beginners like watching this and you disagree, please let me know. I'd be curious to hear your opinion. But as someone who has been teaching tarot for a really long time and who's been reading for a really long time, like I've worked with so many newbies in tarot that like they struggle the most usually with the court cards. And like that does not offer like any clarity, really, in my opinion. It's just like different outfits, salamanders, like, you know, that's not going to be helpful, in my opinion, to the average newbie. But that's just my opinion. All right, next up we've got Cups. Ace of Cups. And let me see, did the Ace of Wands also have a disembodied hand? Yes, it did. So again, this goes back to my criticism. It's like, pick a struggle. Like if you want to remove humans from it, like commit to that. We don't need any disembodied hands. But anyway, Ace of Cups. Two of Cups. And like to me, this doesn't quite capture the energy of the Two of Cups, like at all. Like again, let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me on that. But this doesn't look very romancy. It doesn't look very cute. That's my opinion. Three of Cups. Again, I feel like this misses the mark. Just my opinion. Four of Cups. Oop, I'm like dropping things. Four of Cups. Again, for me, this misses the mark. And we see the kind of crossed arms here, which just shows that like what this person is doing in terms of how they're trying to remove human posture from Rider-Waite-Smith symbolism. I'm actually surprised that there's so many like human gestures in this when they've stated that they're trying to move away from that. And it just goes to show that the project, to me, it seems a little half-baked in terms of how it's being done. Aesthetically, I think it's nice to look at. I think it's fun. Like, I think the back's gorgeous. I love the sides that are yellow. I think that's really fun. But it's like, if you're going to keep it symbolic, like keep it 100% symbolic. Like, there's, I think, ways to do that without, you know, these kind of awkward, like disembodied body parts. You know, what did I drop? I think I dropped the Five of Cups. Yeah. So, I don't know. To me, this is a little bit better. But even then, like, I don't know. Six of Cups. We have a mitten. I don't know, you guys. Like, aesthetically, if we're just looking at it aesthetically, like, I think it's fun to look at. But if we're going to think about it as, like the practicality of working with it to read cards, like I'm really not sure that this would be effective, especially for newbies. You know what I mean? Eight of Cups. Yeah, like to me, this misses the mark. Like Nine of Cups. Ten of Cups. Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. Like, I also wish there was some kind of consistent symbolism around, like, the colors of the background of each of these cards. Like, I think it seems like a missed opportunity, like, especially if we're going to be working with symbolism. Like, I wish that the background color of each suit was, like, within the same color family, which is not what we're seeing at all. So, for instance, it's like all of these are, like, in the Cups suit, for instance. And so it's like, if we're going to be working with color symbolism like that, I feel like is a little bit of a missed opportunity. But that's just me. And here, like, notice we can barely even see that King of Cups with the yellow on the gray. And so, yeah, like I can barely see that. You know what I mean? And so I feel like there's just some, you know, stuff that needs some tweaking. And we can barely read that as well. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Not mad at that one. But even then, I don't know. Four of Swords. Like, and I'm not going to keep saying my criticisms, so I feel like it's consistent. Like, I feel the same criticisms even still. That's a problem with the entire deck, I feel. Five of Swords. Like, to me, this really does not communicate fucking anything about what the Five of Swords is about. Like, the Five of Swords, it's like there's a battle, someone's, you know, looking really smug, other people in the background are like kind of sad. Like, we don't see the strife here, if you know what I mean. The strife is not present. And so for someone who is brand new, like, how the hell are they going to know that this card is in some way about conflict? Like, that's not what we see. You know, like the mood and the vibe is not communicated. Six of Swords. Not too sure why there's a band-aid there, because there is no band-aid in Six of Swords, but whatever. That's all right. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. And, okay, I've got a problem with this because here what we see is an eye mask. You know, sleepy time eye mask. But this card does not have someone wearing a sleepy time eye mask. This card has someone, like, blindfolded. And so if we're really going to think about the symbolism, and if this deck is supposed to be about symbolism, why are we replacing a blindfold with an eye mask for sleep? Because those are two drastically different things, in my opinion. Yes, both of them block vision. That's true. But one of them is, like, very peaceful. You know, if we're wearing an eye mask to go to sleep, that's just because we want to go to sleep. But this card is not about going to sleep in a peaceful way. This card is about learned helplessness, I would say. And that has nothing to do with sleepy time eye masks. So, like, you know, I think if we're going to make a deck that is based on pure symbolism, like, we need to stick with that. But that's just my opinion. You know, we've got the rope. And the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith also doesn't have a rope in this card. It's not a rope at all. What it actually is like, to me, it looks like toilet paper, like, wrapped around someone. And so the fact that it looks flimsy and that it's not a rope tied to somebody, to me, is actually part of the symbolism of this card, like in general. And so to me, this is just like wrong. That's my opinion. Like, I can see where they're trying to come from, but to me, this misses the mark for those reasons. 9 of Swords. Ten of Swords. Misses the mark. I think pretty obvious on why, if you know the tarot. Next up, Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. And again, this is not going to help a newbie learn, in my opinion. Queen of Swords. King of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. Again, we see the disembodied body parts. Two of Pentacles. To me, that looks like a lipstick. I know it's supposed to be the dude's hat, but like, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. Again, we see the disembodied hands. I'm not a fan of that. I get what this person's trying to do here, but like, this does not, like, you guys know what I'm trying to say. It like doesn't do what it's trying to do. It's like someone would be better off reading the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Pentacles, and it would be like easier to understand what is going on, in my opinion. So it's like, for me, this is more of like a collector deck. It's for the aesthetic. It is, you know, I think a better choice for someone who's just collecting tarot. Oh, didn't we already pull the full? What the hell? Oh my God. So for whatever reason, this deck has 2 of the Fool. So I don't know if that's like my own luck of having a bonus Fool card, because that was randomly in the middle of the Pentacles suit. I'll take it. I'll take the bonus Fool card. That's very random. Weird. Yeah, that was right between the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles. It's interesting. So 5 of Pentacles. Crutches, the Band-Aid. I don't know why we've got a random foot there. I don't know. 6 of Pentacles. Like, this to me does not communicate what this card is about at all. Like, someone looking at this, I think, who doesn't know anything about tarot is going to be like deeply confused about what this card means. Seven of Pentacles. Same with this. 8 of Pentacles. Kind of feel the same. 9 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. Again, the random beard chilling. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I don't think anyone who doesn't know the tarot is going to understand what the hell that means. 9 of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. All right, so now let's give these a little shuffle. So I feel like I've already kind of communicated how I feel about this deck. Yeah, again, I was not gifted the book that goes along with this. So maybe the book explains some of these choices. Like, I'm sure it probably does. But I also feel like if this deck is supposed to be for newbies and people learning the symbolism, like if that's the pitch that it's kind of trying to achieve, like, do I feel like it's achieved it? Like, personally, no. Like, I hate to be a critical person in this way, but like, I don't see it. Like, I feel like this deck is a better fit for advanced intermediate collectors, Like, obviously, it's a kind of aesthetically, like, interesting deck. Like, I love the back. I love the yellow. You know, so I feel like this is not going to be a deck that I would ever read with for myself or others. Personally, it's not something, it's not evocative enough to me. The images inspire no emotions in me when I'm looking at them. I feel like some of them are kind of phoned in and not designed that well. I see the vision. I understand the vision. I feel like it's like 80% of the way there of what it's trying to do. I feel like some of it is kind of lazy. At the same time, I do feel like there is like, this is beautiful, like with the yellow sides, very nice. Box, very nice. Shuffles well. The cards are a good size. They feel good in my hand. Don't know what to make of the bonus full card. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, the cards feel good to shuffle. They are a bit matte though in the finish, which I think was the correct finish for this kind of like graphic shapes, like no shading type of art style. So I feel like that was a good choice. I think it does give the cards a little bit more friction in the hand, that they are not like a little bit glossed up at all. So that's something to keep in mind. It does feel like I have to put a little bit more effort in shuffling these because of that, which is fine. Yeah, I think it's all right. It's an interesting idea. Do I feel like it was fully executed? Not necessarily. Yeah, I feel like this is a collector deck more than a practical deck to be used for readings. I don't think it's a good deck to learn from for a newbie, like, at all, personally. And again, if you're a newbie and you like learned from this deck and think it's the bee's knees, like, again, tell me. I'd be open to hearing your thoughts on that. But that's not like what I'm getting with this deck at all. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. But it's a good size. I feel like it's a good size. The cards are not too thick. Like, I can hold them. It feels all right. Feels good to shuffle. It's not unwieldy. I think the box, again, is a good size. Nicely designed box. Not too heavy. Not too unwieldy. Like, I could see this easily just fitting in my bag or whatever. But do I think it's a good deck for a new tarot reader? Absolutely not. Do I think it's a good working deck? Also absolutely not. Do I think it's a good deck for collectors who just love like tarot stuff and like tarot nerds and just people who are interested in tarot as like an art object? Like, for sure, pick this up. But if you want to read with this, I don't think you're going to get a lot out of it, especially if you're brand new to tarot. If you love the art style, by all means, grab it. But this is not one I would personally buy, like, unless it was a gift from the publisher, which it was. So I'm very grateful for that. So thank you to the publisher for sending this to me. But again, I don't think it should be marketed as a deck for newbies. Like, I think, again, great for collectors, great for intermediate to advanced tarot readers who already know what the cards mean. I don't think the images that we see on the cards are enough to help people understand the tarot. And again, I was not gifted the booklet, so I don't know what the hell the book says. But those of you guys who've been in my space for a long time will know that I don't think you should have to rely on any book or whatever for the tarot. I think you need to be looking at what the cards themselves are communicating to you. You know, that is, I think, the best place to be learning. And that is not what we really see here. That's kind of my main point with this. So thanks, y'all, for listening to my ramble and unboxing and walkthrough of this deck, Tarot Disassembled. I'd be really curious to know everyone's thoughts on it with the walkthrough. And if anyone does use this deck in their own practice, please let me know in the comments if you like it, what you find its strengths and weaknesses are, and all of that. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll catch you guys another time with another deck. Bye.